Well, hello there, ladies and gentlemen. Simon here with the finale of the Acolyte to react to. Before we jump in, just to kind of let you know what's going to happen over the next few weeks with this show kind of wrapping up. I'm going to be playing the Outlaws game when it comes out at the very end of August, so stick around for that. I'll be doing some live streams. I've got a few interesting videos coming up, including a review of this series, a breakdown of each episode. I've got a couple of other reviews coming up. So if you haven't, please do subscribe so that you don't miss out on any of that content. And obviously we'll then be picking up Skeleton Crew at the end of the year. But there's a lot of content still to come for the channel as we progress into the next few weeks and months. So yeah, by all means, if you're not subscribed and you've enjoyed these videos, would appreciate it if you could hit the subscribe button and follow along the journey that we are going to be going on from this point forward. Speaking of the journey, we're coming to the end of the Acolyte today, and if I am being completely 100% brutally honest, it's been a bit of a mixed bag for me. I sat down with some friends and rewatched the first 5 episodes earlier this week, and on a second rewatch, it's kind of like, I expected it to kind of flow better, and in a way it did. The first 2 episodes still flowed really well, and, you know, other than a few bits of pacing issues here and there, and the insane amount of transitional wipes, I felt that the first 2 episodes set up a really good premise. What I didn't expect was the third episode on a sort of a rewatch didn't... I mean, especially knowing now what we know about the events, it doesn't hold up as well, because the lack of mystery being there kind of like really takes away a lot of the uniqueness of the episode. And I feel like now that third episode feels less necessary, simply because it covers a lot of what happened in last week's episode, or last week's episode covered a lot of what happened, you know, twice over. So looking back, you know, obviously the choreography still is really fantastic. The main beats of the story still hit pretty well, but the rewatch kind of made me realize that maybe the show doesn't flow as well as I thought, given the events of episode 7. And obviously, I made it very clear last week that episode 7 wasn't my favourite. I felt like it was a lot of wasted time. It was retreading ground that we didn't need to retread. It felt very underwhelming in its reveal. It's like it was just a fire, a faulty generator. You know, there was kind of blame on both sides. You know, Indara came out looking the best because she was the one making the wise decisions. You know, Soul acted very strangely towards the twins from the get-go. It just was a little confusing, and I get the parallels. Soul and Chimere both want pupils, but the way they try and put it together, the way they execute it, is just really awkward. And like I said, the show feels like it's trying to be philosophical, and it just can't pull it off. You know, it seems ham-fisted at the best of times. So I was disappointed with last week's episode, and I feel like this finale, we're not going to be able to wrap everything up in a satisfying way in just whatever it might be. I haven't seen the runtime of the episode yet, but I imagine it's going to be similar, 42, 43 minutes all in. I just can't see how we're going to wrap up everything. The fallout of the flashbacks, the conversations between the 2 different parties, finding out what is going to happen with the twins. What does it really mean about their birth? What happened with Chimere in the past? You know, what's Venestra going to do? The showdown between all of them. Who's going to live? Who's going to die? Is there going to be a Sith Lord show up? I can't see how you can tie all that up in the space of half an hour, 35 minutes, and feel satisfied. That's just my feelings on it. It might work. We might go into this and get a really snappy, well-edited, well-focused finale that kind of brings everything together, but I'm doubtful. And that's a shame, because for the most part, I felt like this show has been alright. It's been pretty good. Overall, my feelings are good and bad, kind of make it mediocre. It's like, it's average. It's not the worst thing in the world, certainly not the best. I'm not, and again, being brutally honest here, if there is a season 2, I'll probably watch it. If there isn't, I won't be sad. I won't. I'll just take this for what it was, an experiment into the Star Wars universe. Into a mystery, into another age. I'll be disappointed that it wasn't more successful, but I ultimately won't be sad. But if there's a second season, sure, I'll jump along and see what happens. and we'll go from there. But I feel like I've waffled enough, so why don't we jump into the finale? So yes, let's watch the last episode of The Acolyte Season 1. Oh, okay. Oh. Is she experiencing... Oh, she's in his head. Is this because she's experiencing the flashback?
She had her hand outstretched. She was killing Soul.
Where is she?
She had a saber in her hand, but she didn't use it.
Or did she see the future?
This is the future you saw. She can kill with no weapon.
Do you know it was May and not yourself, though, is the question.
The future isn't fixed.
Oh, fucking Basil. I was wondering how he was going to show up and get involved.
Escape ship.
Oh, who's going to shoot her down? Again, Basil being there just really throws me out. I don't get what the point is. Why? Why? What? I don't get the love for Basil, I really don't. I think he's annoying.
Senator Raincourt's here to see you.
Oh.
He's from there.
You let him in the control room?
There he is.
Senator. Apologies for my intrusion.
Not at all.
People have been waiting for him to show up.
I was surprised when they said you were traveling through hyperspace. There are multiple victims.
I am very close to apprehending the suspect.
Is the suspect a Jedi?
Very close. Thank you for your concern.
A delusional cult that claims to control the uncontrollable.
We don't control the Force.
Not the Force. Your emotions. You project an image of goodness and restraint. But it's only a matter of time before one of you snaps. And when, not if that happens, who will be strong enough?
He seems to be quite knowledgeable
Certainly an opinion, and not one shared by the rest of the Senate.
about the workings of the Jedi.
Imagine a galaxy without the Jedi.
Is that all, Senator?
If so, you can leave.
I have reported your lack of transparency to Chancellor Drellick. He may invite you to a Senate tribunal for an update.
May the Force be with you.
Force be with you.
This is the stuff I like. The intrigue, the politics, you know. More of this. Give me more of this. It's just a shame it came in the finale. Oh, shit. Who the fuck is that? Plagueis. That is Plagueis, isn't it? Oh, fuck. Okay. They gave that away a bit early. Question is he an apprentice or a master? That felt really weird, that being placed in there like that, just all of a sudden, like...
Prepare my ship. Gather as many knights as you can without raising alarm.
You anticipate a confrontation?
Did you see how many bodies there were in the last place? Do you think all those bodies are still rotting inside? I doubt anyone's come through to, like, clean up the place. There's probably just a bunch of skeletons in there.
Thank you for leading me to her.
Ah.
We make a great team.
Yes, you do. Oh, here we go. Okay, yes. Oh, nice. Yes. Holy shit! Yes, give us some of that. That's what we want to see.
Destroy you if I must.
That's so cool. We'll see, the lightsaber colours look a little dimmed. It's a bit weird. But I'm enjoying this. Yeah. Where have I seen that shot before? With a little mini kick. Oh my god. He's going to use them himself. This is awesome. Okay.
Soul killed our mother. I saw it with my own eyes. He's lied to you.
But she did turn into a weird smoke demon.
You left our home. How could he teach you
I
to
can't
control your
I can't blame him for being a little reactive to that.
have them?
Oh. Oh, that's a cool move. That's a cool move. But that's cortosis. It's just going to short your lightsaber out. He should just headbutt it. I hope that's just the lightsaber that's been broken and not Chimera himself, because, you know...
But it has something to do with the virgins on this planet.
How she did what?
She created life.
Osha's going to come through at the last minute and kill him.
I believe she used the Force to create you and Osha.
She's going to be listening in.
Do you have any idea what kind of power that is? In the history of the galaxy, very few have been
Yep.
powerful. I did everything because I love.
Well, who's doing that? Is May gonna stop her? Oh, she's bleeding the crystal. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. Don't try and stop her. Okay. I thought May might have stopped it because then now she's got no proof. She won't get to see him confess. Oh. Oh, okay. Ooh. That's an interesting perspective. Okay, I don't know where it's going to go from there. That's a lot of Jedi. Are we finally going to get to see the lightsaber whip?
You.
Oh, yeah.
You're alive.
Yep. He was your apprentice.
I'm sorry I started that fire.
I'm sorry, you're both so wooden. When I say both, it's one person. I don't really care about the twins. I think they're the weakest part of the show.
You are with me.
Let my sister go, and I will train with you.
Are you sure?
And you're back at square one.
The Jedi will use me to find you.
Yeah. There's got to be a definitive end to this.
As above sits the stars. And below lies the...
Seemed easy. Makes you wonder, did he learn that from the Jedi?
I give you
Because he did say
and you give.
that he didn't want Soul getting in his head.
You give.
Yeah, it's kind of messed up that she left her to face the music. Like, I thought they'd at least get her out of there. Disappointed we didn't get a showdown between Venestra and Kymir.
He was a kind, brilliant, compassionate man.
He was just very strangely obsessed with
He
you.
did a terrible thing.
16 years ago, 4
So
Jedi
she is
were
telling them.
stationed on the planet Brendok. Afterwards, the Jedi conspired to keep their actions secret. Recently, when the truth threatened to come out,
So they're just going to omit
a rogue Jedi named
stranger.
Soul killed his accomplices to maintain the cover story.
Ah,
Sorry, my friend.
she's covering up. I said that this is what she would do.
We wholly condemn the action.
I just know that Venestra
I think it
fans
might be
from the
useful
novels are not going to be happy.
for a full Senate vote.
After credit scene? Nope, well, we're not done.
Sorry to disturb you, Master.
Oh, it's going to be Yoda.
We
Of
need to talk.
course. Okay, so again, kind of mixed feelings there on that finale. What I will say is that I think that it did a better job than I imagined at least rounding out the story that we got. It closed off the loophole of the Jedi knowing about a potential dark side user, with the blame being placed on Soul. Because everyone now who knew about Kymir is either dead or mind wiped. The only other person is Venestra. And I think that, you know, again, that's why you don't jump the gun when you're sort of sat there saying, "Oh, plot hole, canon's been broken. The Jedi now know about the Sith." It's like, no, that briefing way back in episode 4, I think it was, or episode 2. I can't remember. I think it was episode 4 with Ki-Adi-Mundi. No mention of a Sith, just a rogue agent. Venestra, when they went to investigate the the bodies where Kalnaka was, there was a heavy insinuation by the Jedi there that it could be Soul. They weren't sure. And then, obviously, the only people who knew about Kymir was Soul and the Jedi that died, and Venestra herself. So, you know, I think it did a good job at, you know, those rounding out those, you know, supposed canon breaking moments. I'm still a little uncertain as to what the actual purpose of the end of that story is. I mean, clearly they've got a second season planned then, which is the opposite, you know, of what Leslie Headland had said with regards to the story being completely finished at the end of this season. You know, they must have known beforehand a second season would have been, you know, greenlit anyway, because you wouldn't leave it on a note like that, I wouldn't have thought. Once again, the action in the finale was great. I think some of the best of the show so far. I really loved the stylized kind of slow motion fight scenes that, you know, were very akin to what you might see in some of the old kung fu movies. I will say the lightsabers looked a little off. Just it looked like you could see more of the actual LED blade than, you know, the bright plasma blade that you should see when there was motion. It looked a little bit strange in that way. I don't know if that's something that they'll go in and touch up, but it did look a little bit dim sometimes when they were swinging the lightsabers. But the action was top notch. Again, I absolutely loved some of the moves, you know, with Soul and Kymir. You know, and again, I kind of foresaw some of the bits. You know, the moment that we realised that, you know, Osha was saying, "Oh, May's going to kill Soul," I was like, it's probably going to be Osha. You know, Osha's not been able to control her emotions. She's angry. And I kind of like that. I like the idea that, you know, she's the one that's not been able to control her anger because, you know, she's the one in the dark. I'm still... The twins, for me, are still the weakest element of the show. I still kind of left off not caring about them. Like, I don't understand the whole point of the Vergence in the Force if that was never going to be resolved. Like, May being left not brainwashed, but mind-wiped, kind of... It's just kind of like, well, why not just have them be twins? Why does it need to be a convergence? How is that going to play into anything? You know, is that going to be a second season story? In which case, why not just stretch the whole thing out? Them leaving the Venestra and Chimera stuff unspoken as well is a little unsatisfying, because it's like, I thought at least we might get some kind of hint at what happened in these last couple of episodes between those two. I'm far more interested in that than I am the Brendock stuff. You know, and the I haven't gone back and looked at it, but I'm assuming that was Plagueis looking at the shape of the alien. But that seemed a very odd place to put that cameo and not expand on it. A very odd place. It's like, is he at this point an apprentice of Chimera, or is he a master? Why is he hiding? Is Chimera actually Darth Tenebris? I don't know. I don't quite know. So yeah, I feel like in some ways it resolved things better than I expected. In other ways, I feel a little unfulfilled. And because we're kind of in the dark about whether there is going to be a second season, and I'm just not sure whether I have enough interest at this point to watch a second season. Like, I probably would, just to pick up the loose ends, because I like Chimera. I'm interested in seeing what could have happened with Venestra. What was kind of like the really good parts of this show, other than the action, which, you know, I've already described, is the stuff with, like we saw in this episode with David Harwood's character and Venestra, like the intrigue, the political stuff, the look into the behind the scenes of the Jedi, you know. It's that kind of stuff really interests me. You know, seeing how the cover-up is done behind the scenes, seeing the political pressure on the Jedi, that stuff kind of came out of nowhere. And that's what I'm talking about when I say structure. We don't really hear much about this external review of the Jedi until now. It's like, maybe if you'd have placed that earlier in the season, that might have, like, made a bit more sense as to, like, why there might be a need to cover things up. Because, like, I said early on, I think Venestra is going to pin this on Soul. She's going to cover it up. That's going to piss off a lot of Venestra fans, because, you know, she seems to be... I've not read the novels in full, but from what I've been told, she seems like a very different person in the novels to, you know, how she ends up here. And so for her to take that leap to do the cover-up clearly is to try and put off the idea that the Jedi are not... You know, that they're under threat. You know, I'd like to know more about what they're trying to do, because she clearly knows. I think that's what the end scene was trying to insinuate, that she's going to go maybe to Yoda and say that her former apprentice is still alive. Again, she doesn't know Sith, because she just knows he's alive. That's all. The only person that it was mentioned Sith to was Soul. And Soul's dead, you know. I was surprised that May didn't try and stop, like, Soul from dying, because, like, the whole point was that she said she wanted him to confess. And without him alive, she doesn't really get what she wants. So that was a bit of a surprise. I was expecting her to step in. I will say, that scene with the crystal being bled was pretty cool. Like, we've only seen a crystal being bled in the Jedi Survivor game. To see it in live action, and in the way that, you know, it was only when she fully activated the blade that it started to really bleed through. That was a really interesting way of showing it, you know. So yeah, I've got to say, it did better than I expected. I think I need to take a couple of days to actually sit down and think about this, because I still feel like the Brendock stuff, the flashback episodes, if you take them out of this show or condense them down into one episode and really tighten them up into something that is better structured to fit in with the theme of the show and the pacing of the show, I think, you know, you could do so much better with this. I think the show becomes vastly better. I think if, you know, even the twins, like, you don't need the twins, I don't think. It could have been one person, you know. I still, unless it's a long game plan, which I'm not interested in, I don't understand the whole point of it being like Vergence in the Force, created from the Force. Like, unless they are trying just to foreshadow how Plagueis finds out. That's the only thing I can think about, is that they are trying to set up how Plagueis creates Anakin. He learns about it from Osha, uses it later on to create Anakin. It's trying to establish some kind of a backstory there as to how this was done, you know. Maybe that's where Anakin is, you know, actually conceived. Maybe Anakin is conceived on Brendock. Who knows? So anyway, hope you enjoyed that. Let me know what you think in the comments. As I say, I'll have out a comprehensive review once I've had a few days to think about this and put it together. So within the week, I've got a couple of other things coming up as well that I'll have videos for. And then at the end of August, when Outlaws comes out, I'll be streaming that. We've also got Skeleton Crew coming up later on, so be sure to stick around for that. In the meantime, thank you for watching. Hope you enjoyed, and I will see you for the next video.